get excited about table topics. And the reason I get excited was because I was pushed into Toastmasters by a friend because I was slow on my feet. I always had an answer about 5 minutes too late. And by then, people had already left the room. Now, I don't know if it's just me or you, but the great thing about Toastmasters is you can get much better. If I can get better, you can get better. And how do you get better? Well, you're doing it tonight. You're going to practice. Also, contests. Now, Ron told me you've got a table topics contest coming up this week. If you haven't signed up, I encourage you. It's one of the best places that you can grow and get better at table topics. So how many people want to get better at table topics? Great. We've got an enthusiastic crowd tonight. So let's get started. One of the fastest ways that I would encourage you to grow is practice, practice, practice. You've heard it, and enter the contest. For me, entering a table topic contest was where I got the opportunity to watch other speakers, learn from them, and learn from your very own Freddie. Freddie gave one of the nicest tips in terms of practice. When she's driving and she's at the red light at an intersection, most people are just waiting for it to turn green. But Freddie, while she's waiting for it to turn green, she's also practicing table topics. So you can practice table topics anywhere, anytime. Where are you going to be practicing table topics next? My next tip I'm going to encourage all of you is to have a toolbox, a table topics toolbox, where you get an opportunity to learn some tips each week when you're coming to your meetings. Put them in your toolbox so that you've got tips. Anytime somebody asks a question, an interview question, you're stuck not sure what to do, you've got some strategies. So let's talk about some of the strategies. Tonight, I'm going to encourage all of you, warm your brain up first. What do I mean by that? What I mean is before you get to the club meeting, before you get to the contest, warm your brain up. That way you're thinking quicker, you're thinking faster, you've got ideas already in your brain. So we're going to practice right now. I'm going to ask you questions. I want you to answer the questions and put them in the chat. First question, tell me 3 of your favorite foods. Go. Put it in the chat. Quick, quick, quick. We're going to get our brains moving. Nice, Richard. Oh, great choices. Oh, I like chocolate zucchini cake, Sandra. I'm just saying I don't have any favorites, but I love that. Tip number 3, always think in threes. When you're doing table topics, the magic 3. Even if you can't get through all 3, every time you start asking yourself questions at the intersection, warming your brain up, you've got ideas churning. Now, tell me 3 people who inspire you. Go. Mom, Ron, Sandra, excellent. Seeing lots of family. And that's tip number 4. Start thinking about who are the people in your life who make a difference, who teach you things, you learn lessons, or inspire you. When you talk about family, it's a connection we can all relate to. When you're doing a table topic, you talk about family, you're already connecting with your audience. Start thinking about the stories. Who are the people who make a difference? I'm seeing Mom, I'm seeing Dad, I'm seeing Ron, I'm seeing Freddie, and I'm seeing Mom, Mom, Mom. And I'm saying to your president, you must have some great stories about your mom. So keep thinking about the people who are inspiring you so that tonight you can draw upon those people. And why? 1, everybody can relate. 2, when you speak about your mom, your dad, your family, your voice gets stronger, you're more passionate, use more gestures because you care about these people. So already you're getting more strategies. Now you're thinking, well, Nandini, that's all great. We've warmed up our brain. We're going to enter the table topics contest this week. At Dynamically Speaking, we're going to start thinking in threes. We're going to start doing our family, talking about family. Well, you might be thinking, What's the best advice that you've gotten about table topics? And the best advice that changed the way that I did table topics was from a guy named George Torres. And his advice was, anytime you get a question, you should immediately, whatever comes to your brain when you hear the question, go with that answer. And once you go with the answer, don't turn back. When you sit down back in your seat, you can question the answer you came up with. But when you answer the question, go with your first answer. That completely changed the way I started doing table topics. I hear a question, I think briefly, I come up with an answer, and I go with that. And the reason that makes you stand out is you're stronger when you start, you're very clear, you're answering the question, and when you have a decision, when you make a decision, emotions fuel your answer. So when they say, do you like cats or dogs? Don't say, well, I kind of like cats, but I really kind of like dogs, and my uncle has a dog, and my aunt has a cat. Make a decision. Say, I really love cats. I love cats because they're affectionate, they're independent, and you never have to walk them when it's -40. I really love cats. And let me tell you about my favorite cat that always gets into my tech. Yes, it's happened, and it might happen tonight. My cat Maple, if I'm not there, well, you know why, because Maple's really good at tech, and when she wants attention, she just turns the computer off. So go with your answer, make a decision. Now, you're thinking, should we practice this, Nandini? Absolutely. So, Liz,
yes,
in the next 15 seconds, I'm going to ask you a question. Only 15 seconds. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to give me a direct answer. Tell us one skill that you've learned in the last year.
teaching online has been the skill that I have acquired in the last year due to the pandemic. Before that, I had no idea how Zoom worked. I didn't know how to use any of the tools and how to transmit those ideas. So something that I valued with this situation is that now I have the skill of using Zoom, and not only did I get to teach with that, I got to be a part of this club.
Fantastic. What did we learn from that, from Liz? We learned she answered the question immediately. When you answer the question immediately, it tells the judges the direction you're going. If you do it sooner rather than later, they know what to look for in terms of supporting your answer. And Liz gave us support in terms of supporting her answer. And finally, I want to leave you with your conclusion. The difference between first and second, second and third and learning can be your conclusion. Sometimes people run out of time. Even if you summarize your table topic in one sentence, you'll have more points than people who don't. So my challenge for you tonight, every person who does a table topic, leave the last 30 seconds for your conclusion. So what are you going to put in your toolkit? I know you've all been gathering strategies. Well, in our toolkit today, we learned practice, sign up for contest, give yourself opportunities to practice table topics. 2, we learned the fact, warm up your brain. It's like a good cup of coffee. Warm up your brain before you come to the club. So when you get to table topics, you're already warmed up. Ask yourself 5 questions, write them down, warm yourself up. 3, think in threes. 3 ideas, 3 reasons, 3 stories. 4, family. Anytime you bring in family and stories, you'll have passion, you'll have awesome gestures, and we'll hear it in your voice. 5, best advice. Start strong, answer the question, go with the first answer that comes into your head and build on it. And finally, my challenge for you tonight. End every table topic with a conclusion. Power is in summary. And you can have more power in your toolkit if you remember to end on time. Mr. Toastmaster.